Welcome everyone to Introduction to Industrial Organizational Psychology. My name is Stephanie Tavares, also known as Professor T, and I will be your instructor and personal guide for the next 7 weeks. The first thing that I would like to introduce you to is our virtual classroom. Virtual Campus is a super neat and intuitive tool that you will grow to love. On the homepage, you'll notice a navigation toolbar on the left-hand side. This will guide you to the syllabus, announcements, discussions, and so much more. You will also see that you can access each unit on the homepage if you scroll down, right? So one unit for each week. Now, let's get started with orientation since that's what you're going to be digging into when you get to your virtual classroom. So what does orientation entail? As you notice, there are a couple of tasks that you must complete, and the first one is to explore the syllabus. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the syllabus in a new link, in a separate link, and here we are. I've also PDF'd the syllabus for you in this announcement, so if you want to keep that in handy and print that out, feel free. Now, let's get into the required course material. So you'll notice that we're going to be using Machinsky Psychology Applied to Work, and it's the 12th edition. As you notice here, it says that the 11th edition is also okay, but slightly different. Now, my recommendation is to get the 12th edition, and here's the 2 reasons why. First, this is your foundational course to your program, and so you will definitely want to have this book handy and have the most updated version. And secondly, you will be using this course for your next section of Intro to Psychology. And so again, you would want to have the most updated since new editions come out very frequently. Okay, so right now I would like to show you what the book looks like in the Psychology Applied to Work site that you can also purchase it. So here's how the book looks. And as you see, it says 12th edition. Now, within this site, you can purchase it in 2 formats, either the hard copy or electronic, or even both. So I'll let you choose what you decide as far as whether wanting it as an electronic version or a hard copy. So I'll let you decide your preference, okay? Now, you also can purchase the book using the University Bookstore. So don't forget that as well. Let's go ahead and move on to the recommended course materials. You'll notice that you have the APA manual, also known as, an IO psychologist, right-hand man or sidekick, whatever you want to call it. But it's definitely one of those recommended course materials that should be required. And here's why. Because this is also a foundation to your papers and your formats. Many of you have probably taken many courses, but some of us in here have never seen APA before. And in this program, APA is required for every research paper and assignment that you have in terms of when you're citing references, your reference list, your in-text citations. So it's important to have the right guide, and the APA manual is the right guide. Now, I will be providing some additional resources, but again, this is a book that you'll need long-term, as well as the Machinsky book, because it is the foundation of this program, okay? So you'll notice that we're moving along to the schedule, and you have your readings here. I recommend looking at your readings through a more of a module overview way, because then you get to see how the reading relates to your assignment, while this just gives you a list of the readings. But way down below where it says course summary, you'll notice all of your assignments and due dates. So just a couple things about the assignments. Now, you'll notice that we have one due on January 23rd, Thursday, which is assignment 0, and that's basically for us to get to know each other. I'll in a minute go over there and share the questions with you all, and I'll even answer them myself so that you can get to know me a little bit more. But there's a couple things that I want to point out. One, you want to be looking at this ASAP and actually opening up all of the content in here, really looking at the entire course so that you have a really good understanding of what we're asking of you through these 7 weeks. Because as you notice, we're going to be taking steps. So everything correlates with each other and builds off of each other. So make sure that you have an understanding of what the end road looks like so that you don't have so much work to do at the end and you're actually being intentional with every step or being intentional in every step of the way. Okay? So that's the first thing. You want to open all of these up and check them out. Secondly, you want to start planning when you're going to get these assignments done. I would not only plan ahead, but get started ahead as well. And the reason why is because you want to allow some flexibility. Things are bound to happen, and in a virtual setting, accountability and motivation can be hard. I can attest to that, right? So you have to place some contingency plans for yourselves in order to make sure that you are setting yourself up for success. Okay? Another thing that I want to point out is that all of these are due at 10:59 p.m. Now we have people from all over the states in different time zones. I just want to point out that as long as it is submitted before normal times of getting up, right? Meaning before 8 a.m., let's say. I mean, I get a way earlier than that, but I guess before actually going into your computer and seeing what the day is about. So I'm just expecting that these assignments are in before 8 a.m. the next day. So that can give you a little bit more time in that during the evening if you have a full-time job, have kids at home, and all you can do is work at night. And, 11 o'clock may not be enough, especially given the different time zones. So I just wanted to point that out, that is a little bit, there's a little flexibility there. But that is pretty much the only flexibility when it comes to submitting, again, because you want to make sure that you are submitting even before the deadline, right? You want to be on top of this whole course plan. Okay. Later on, I'll also give some expectations when it comes to the assignments, but I just wanted to point that out now before we move on. Okay, so going back to your orientation, you'll notice that you still have some more tasks to complete. So one of them being to review the course policies, the department policies, and the school policies, as well as your University of Hartford orientation. These 3 bullet points are going to be critical for your next future assignments, and that's why it's so important to look ahead. If you notice, going back to the syllabus, you have 2 assignments due on Sunday. We have Thursday, and then right on that Sunday, you have your syllabus quiz due and your first discussion posts. So take note that your orientation is really going to help you out with that, right? All right, so the next thing is checking for announcements by selecting announcements. So I think you've already done that, otherwise you probably would have not received this, or I'm also sending it by email too, but that won't be common. So one of the things that I want to point out and to expect is that most of my communication, if not all of my communication, will be in the form of an announcement. The other communications that you're going to see is basically feedback on the assignments that you hand in. So all updates will be within these announcements. So please make sure to be checking them out. All right, so now let's go ahead and check out your first discussion. And I will go ahead and open this on a separate link. Okay, so here are questions. And again, I'm going to answer them so that you have a little bit more of understanding of who I am, get to know me a little bit. I definitely don't bite, just because I'm a professor. I really truly care about what I'm doing here with you all. But I also want to make sure that you're being timely, that you're challenging yourselves, that you're being again intentional in your responses to and not rushing through this, right? This is not a check on the box. A master's program, you should really be truly intentional. Because you can apply everything to what you're doing now on your daily lives, especially when it comes to IO. Okay, so the first question is, where are you located and where are you from? So I'm located in South Florida. I'm originally from the South Bronx, so lots of South going on. And I love it here, and I love home too. Hartford was also my home for a little bit as well, and I talk about that a little bit. What are the three words that best describe me? I would say I'm an executor, happy-go-lucky, energizer, and training. Training defines me completely, actually. I really am passionate again about what I do, especially under IO, which is training and development. And for any of you who are really truly pursuing something specific in IO and just need a sounding board, by all means, I would be more than happy to give you some insight in my own experiences in the field. What was my major in college? So, fun fact, I went to the University of Hartford for 3 degrees: my associate's, my bachelor's, and my master's. So I've actually been in your shoes, except I was in the master's program. It was face to face and not virtual. For my bachelor's, I earned a degree in psychology as well as French. And for my master's, I earned my degree in organizational psychology, which is what you all are also getting your degree in now. I'm currently finishing up my PhD program. This is the last couple months that I have here. It feels very rewarding, slightly not, because I'm not there just yet, but it's getting to that rewarding phase. And so I also, during this process of getting my doctoral degree, I'm also a virtual student. So I really truly understand what you're going through. I was a student at Hartford. So really and truly, I understand where you all are coming from, and also have, full-time jobs and contracts to deal with. So we're all going to be very busy, but making this a priority, right? What jobs have you had? So the cool thing about IO psychology is that there are so many positions, so many roles, so many different things that you can do. So I've had the opportunity to be a trainer, a coach, a mediator, a HR recruiter, someone who onboards and offboards. I mean, you name it, a curriculum developer, right? I've been able to be a part of change management initiatives. So these are all the types of different jobs that I've had. And currently, I have my own small business where I do a lot of contractual work that involves training and development. Okay. I also am a adjunct professor at the University of Hartford and some local colleges and universities in Florida. So, is this your first online course? It definitely is not, right? As a student, I've probably taken about 18 courses online. And as an instructor, this is probably year 5 for me, and I enjoy it very much. And I think online has some really, really cool perks, but it takes a specific type of person, right? So, yes, not my first time doing an online course. Last question: what do you think is the most challenging part of taking an online course? And I've kind of been talking about this a little bit throughout my video, but it's really holding yourself accountable and staying motivated to meet these deadlines, and not only meet them, but again, really provide some rich data and information from your responses. Because what tends to happen is that we're just trying to rush things and check the box. But please, I urge you to really sit down, and since being that this is the first course, it's just going to make the program much easier for you if you truly understand the content for this course. Okay, so that's what I believe is the most challenging part. Now, let's go back to the welcome in terms of orientation. So again, you can begin the coursework by selecting the modules in the home page, right? And here they are. So for today, I'm only going to be covering the orientation. I will soon put out a video for Unit 1 so that this one is not too long. But there are some expectations that I think that you all should know. So I have them listed, and I'm just going to look for them. So just give me 1 second. But there are things that I think will be important that we all should know from the get. And the first thing that you should know is that the best form of contact is through the virtual campus, right? And by using specifically the inbox tool. So right now I'm circulating it with my mouse, and the inbox is actually popped out right there. Yep, there you go. So you click on that and you can message me privately. And if you send me a message, please give me to 20 up to 24 to 48 hours, mostly 24, but it just depends if that was a weekend or if that was just a very heavy day for me, right? Just please allow 24 to 48 hours and I will always get back to you. But that is the fastest way to reach me and the best way to reach me. If your questions are preventing you from getting your work done, please give me a call on my cell. And so you'll see that information in the course room, as well as I'll provide it in the announcement as well. Okay. Now, while my Hartford email is definitely working, it is just easier to keep all related course questions in-house in the course room, given that there's a lot going on. You probably guys could only imagine how many emails I have, right? So please keep it in the course room. Another thing is, once assignments are submitted, please allow 4 to 7 days for grading and feedback to be returned. Now, I'm not saying it's going to take the full 7. The 7 days is more likely for assignments that are papers and discussions. But given that we have a decent sized class, I want to make sure I'm not rushing the feedback I'm providing you, okay? Another thing to expect is that late assignments, discussions, or quizzes will receive a penalty if they're late, right? Every single day. But after 3 days, your assignment will not be graded. So you have 3 days after the deadline to submit, of course, with some penalties. But after those 3 days, it is non-negotiable. It will not be graded, right? Unless you have communicated with me personally prior to the day of the assignment, when it's actually due, right? Prior to the due date. If you've communicated with me prior to the due date, the penalties do not stand, right? But if you didn't communicate with me, the penalties do stand, all right? So make sure that you are communicating any issues that you may have, any struggles or challenges. Again, I've been in your shoes, still am in your shoes, but it's important to make sure that you're moving along. We cannot get, we can't fall behind. So make sure you're communicating and that you communicate with a plan. All right. So when submitting assignments, also, please provide a Word document, not a PDF, as I will be using the comment tool to provide you with feedback. So I won't be able to do that with the PDF version. Make sure to send it as the Word version, which is just as you receive it when you download it. And lastly, expect to have fun and to learn a lot. So IO is truly, again, an exciting field. I mean, we're going to learn a lot. And it's so cool because you can actually apply it immediately. And I can't wait for the fruitful discussions that are going to take place amongst all of you. If you get to the end of this message, please comment below by answering this question, and you'll receive an additional 3 points for your first quiz. All right, so we're starting off on the right foot. And the question is, what is the best form of contact to reach me, your instructor, right? What is the best form of contact to reach me? All right, if you answer below, I will certainly make sure that you get those 3 points, okay? And with that being said, welcome to the course. We are going to start off strong. We are going to finish strong, and have a great weekend, team.